What's up, guys? Mcbober here. So I'm going to be doing a quiz today on for Star Wars Unlimited, and to explain a little bit what this is. Mobius has created this SWUniversity.net website. He's a great guy. I've chatted with him a bunch of times, and he's made this really fun website here that has all these different little activities you can do. The two things it has right now, it has its Do You Know Star Wars Unlimited, which is great. It does like cards, it messes with them, and you have to figure out what's wrong. And then there's a quiz where it kind of quizzes you on the rules and how interactions work. So I'm going to be doing that. So there's going to be spoilers here for some of these questions. I'm going to go through the standard mode here. I'm going to pick 25 questions. So I think there's like 110 total questions that exist. If you haven't done these yourself and you don't want them spoiled, feel free to go do them and come back. But I'm going to go through them here, and I'll explain what I pick as I go. I feel like I know the rules of this game fairly well, but maybe some of these will surprise me here. Let's find out. So let's see. Starting off, we got player A controls a ready hotshot V-wing. Player B controls an entrenched, attaching it to the V-wing. Player A then uses their leader, Kazuda Xiono, best pilot in the galaxy, ability to remove all abilities from their hotshot V-wing. Can the V-wing attack, and why or why not? No, because entrenched isn't giving the ability to the unit, which Kaz is blanking. Entrenched has the ability. There's also explanations here. If you haven't seen this website, it explains a lot of why the answer is what it is, in case you get it right or wrong. It's pretty nice, but I'll be skipping over some of that stuff and maybe filling it in myself. At the start of a new round, player A controls an Umbaran mobile cannon and Jabba, wonderful human being. It's cool that they got some of the new cards in here. Deployed as a unit, player B attacks the Umbaran mobile cannon with their Trendrillan sponsor. What best describes what happens? So basically, this question's trying to get at, does damage prevented from the mobile cannon's ability still trigger Jabba? And the answer is, it does not. So Jabba's ability should not trigger. Jabba does not trigger. So it might be a little intuitive, because if you just read it, damage theoretically is being dealt, but the way this game works in its rules is damage prevented is not considered to be damage. It's different from some of FFG's other games, like Marvel Champions, if you've ever played that, but in this game, that's how it works. Player A controls Admiral Ozzel, as clumsy as he is stupid. Player B controls Padme Amidala, what do you have to hide? And has no cards in hand. Player A attacks with Admiral Ozzel into Padme, resulting in Ozzel being defeated. What best describes what happens when Ozzel's when defeated ability resolves? Player A owns Ozzel, player B has Padme, but he has no cards in hand, so player B, nothing happens. He has no cards, so discard. Simple enough. Player A has 3 HP remaining on their base. Player B controls a K2SO, Cassian's counterpart, and also has 3 HP remaining on their base. Player A plays Gorg, Grievous' pet, and uses Ambush to attack into K2SO. What best describes what happens? Some of these questions require me to read them a couple times because they're a little wordy and there's a lot happening. Alright, so you got 3 HP on the base for A. Player B has K2SO. Yeah, this is probably asking about when defeated timing triggers versus overwhelm, if I had to guess. Yeah. They both have 3 HP on their base, they do. So it would be player A wins in this case. The overwhelm would complete before the when defeated of K2SO would fire. So it triggers, but it doesn't have time to fire before the game ends. One of these questions, I'm going to give a confident answer. It's going to be wrong. That'll be funny. Maybe. We'll see. Some of these probably can get pretty tricky. Player A controls a Luke Skywalker Jedi Knight, then plays an Echo Restored and choose to discard a Luke Skywalker, a hero's beginning from their hand. What best describes what happens? The base heals too. What, the base heal too? That's okay. 2 experience. Some of these potential answers are a little strange. Player A controls an exhausted Toro Calican, but I guess they had to fill in the 4 answers with something. The ambitious upstart, they play a second Toro Calican, dealing 1 damage to it to ready their original Toro, then choosing to defeat the new one due to uniqueness. Is this play legal? Why or why not? When you play another bounty hunter, you may do 1 damage to it. If you do, ready to submit. So original Toro. Yeah, this is correct. So basically the reason this wouldn't work is because the new Toro would die before it could take the 1 damage. The death is immediate as soon as it enters play. And this has an if you do clause, so you wouldn't be able to deal the 1 damage because you're dead. Player A controls a ready Ley Organa of a secret bloodline, and Cassian and/or lay low. Player A uses Leia's ability and discloses a rebellious functionary. And Player A give an experience token to Cassian. Why or why not? No, but let's see if we get the right reason here. Yeah, because they share heroism aspects. All the aspects have to be different. Player A controls tech, source of insight. Player B plays scanning officer and chooses 3 of Player A's resources. The revealed resources are a vigilant pursuit craft, a smuggler's aid, and a clan run rescuer. Which resources are defeated? Player A controls tech. Player B all be defeated because they all have logo. Tech. Player A wants to attack with an Imperial Interceptor. Player B has a Battlefield Marine, an Echo-based Defender, and a Bright Hope, the last transport. Which targets are valid? Now, attack with an Interceptor, Marine, a Defender. Oh, this is like an extremely basic question. Only Bright Hope is the valid target. It's supposed to be like a beginner level question because there's different categories here. Some are easy, some are hard. Player A controls a readied Saw Gerrera extremist. Player B has 2 HP remaining on their base and plays Bamboozle, targeting Saw and choosing to discard a Spark of Rebellion from their hand to pay for it. What best describes what happens? Okay, Player A controls Saw. Player B has 2 HP, plays Bamboozle, targeting Saw. So this is one of the trickier questions because it's basically asking, does Bamboozle's discard a card instead of paying costs account for the additional costs that Saw adds? And this really isn't super intuitive. I think you kind of just have to know. I'm going to say no damage to base because it is a cost. Saw's additional cost also gets ignored by Bamboozle's discard ability. Player A is playing Qui-Gon Jinn, student of the Living Force, in the Jedi Temple base. After completing an attack with Qui-Gon, Player A chooses to return Depa Billaba, a higher purpose, to their hand. Which of the following is a valid choice for them to play for free? Play a non-villainy unit. So not Shinhai, not General Riken, not a lightsaber. It would only be Caddy Monday. +5. Player A wants to attack with their house cast soldier. Player B has a deployed Count Dooku, Face of the Confederacy, a pirate battle tank, and a Confederate courier in play. What are valid targets for Player A to attack? So we got all the Player B's units, but not their base. One attack with Player B has a deployed Count Dooku. This is again just asking the basics of and a ground unit attack a space unit, I guess. It's supposed to be one of those easy ones. Anything except the Confederate courier is the answer. Player A controls a droid missile platform, which is upgraded with a targeting computer. When the droid missile platform is defeated, who gets to assign the indirect damage from its when defeated ability? So this is another tricky question. The targeting computer says it lets you assign the damage, but then the question is, because the unit's dead, the targeting computer is now in the discard pile, does its ability still affect the indirect from the missile platform. But the answer is player who doesn't have the missile platform, because once the upgrade's gone, its ability is no longer, the constant ability is no longer affecting that when defeated trigger. Player A has the initiative and obeys Malbus, Temple Guardian, in play. Player B plays a Spec Force soldier and targets base, causing him to lose Sentinel for the phase. Later in the same phase, Player A plays Protector and attaches it to base. What best describes what happens? Sometimes I gotta read these. There's a lot of names there. Okay. Player A has the initiative, and he has base. Player B plays the Spec Force, targets base. Sentinel for the phase. I see. This is asking if you lose Sentinel for the phase, can you regain it? Got it. Answer is once you lose Sentinel for the phase, it is gone. Can't get it back. Though that is a change from how the game originally worked in set 1 when it first came out. They updated that later. Player A has Ahsoka Tano Snips, deployed as a unit, and an exhausted advanced recon commando in play with no other units. They play a Pelta supply frigate. Do they create a clone trooper token, and why? Obviously, yes, they do. I guess this is asking if the Pelta frigate is counting itself. Yeah, that is indeed. Answer here. And these to make sure there's nothing tricky happening. I always feel like I'm going to get tricked somewhere. Pretty straightforward. Player A plays Rallying Cry. Later in the same phase, Player A deploys Leia Organa, Alliance General. Assuming there are no other relevant effects, how much damage would Leia do? Which acts? You play Rallying Cry, then you deploy Leia. I see. So this is asking if Rallying Cry will affect future units that enter play. They have to already be in play when you play Rallying Cry. Player A controls a Seasoned Fleet Admiral. Player B plays I Am Your Father, targeting one of Player A's units. Player A says no with great passion. How many experience tokens does Player A give to their units? It would be 1 experience, because it says 1 or more cards, and 3 is 1 or more. Player A plays Discerning Veteran, capturing Player B's Village Protectors, which had a shield token. What best describes what will happen when Discerning Veteran leaves play? So, I see, this is asking if the shield's going to come back, basically. Full HP, but no shield so far. That looks right. Let's check for tricks. Player B did have the Village. So I've done like the official like judge quizzes, which are similar to these in some ways, but sometimes they throw some curveballs in there to trip you up. So I like to give it a second read just to make sure I'm not being bamboozled somewhere. Ah, see, it almost got me. It says ready. See, this is why you have to read things. You can't just click the answer that seems right at first glance. Player A controls 3 exhausted Rotunda Senate Guards. Player B plays the Eye of Aldani. Player A then plays a Lambda Shuttle. Player B plays another Eye of Aldani. Player A then claims the initiative. Player B passes. How many total resources must Player A pay at the start of the next action phase to ready all 4 of the units? 8. He has 4 units, and 2 Eye of Aldanis were played, so per guy. Simple math. At the start of a new round, Player A plays Gunji, finding himself. Player B, who already has 2 of the units in play, plays Katie Monday, composed and confident. Then Player A plays General's Blade, attaching it to Gunji. What best describes what happens? Alright, so Player A has Gunji. Player B's got Katie Monday. He plays the General's Blade. So it's asking if Caddy would draw the cards. Caddy doesn't care about card or what the card type, event, unit. Great. Now this doesn't specify that Caddy Mighty has. It does say he has 2 of the units in play. Okay. So yeah, Caddy Mighty would trigger. Let's make sure player B is the one who has him. Yes. Okay. Gotta check this player A, player B nonsense sometimes. Player A controls Chewbacca Walking Carpet with no damage on him, deployed as a unit. A Wilderness Fighter with a shield token, an X-Wing token, and a Vanguard Infantry in the discard pile that was defeated earlier this phase. Player B controls a Skyway Cloud Car. Player A defeats Player B's Skyway Cloud Car. What units can Player B choose to return to Player A's hand? Let's see. When defeated, you return a non-leader unit with 2 or less power to its owner's hand. So, someone was in the discard pile. Why does that matter? Vanguard Infantry is in the discard pile. I was asking if you could take a card from the opponent's discard and put it in their hand. Okay. The Wilderness Fighter and the X-Wing. Those are the 2 in play, and they both have 2 or less power, and they're non-leaders. That's just a rating comprehension thing. Player A controls the Daughter, Embodiment of Light. Has the Force token and has 1 HP remaining on the base. Player B attacks the Daughter with Aura Sing, Crackshot, Sniper. What best describes what happens? So this is asking about the timing of Overwhelm versus the healing from the Daughter. Because Aura Sing is the active player. Actually, I guess that part really is irrelevant. It's mostly just Overwhelm would happen first before you actually get to heal from the Daughter. So you would go to 0. And then the game would just end before you get a chance to actually resolve the heal 2 trigger. Let's see. Player B has Aura Sing, so I'm actually not sure. I mean, obviously there's no way to force an opponent to attack you with Overwhelm, but that I'm aware of, but I think it would happen even if you were the active player somehow making Aura Sing attack you. I think Overwhelm would happen first before the Daughter could do her thing. I don't think the active players, but I could be wrong. That's not a situation that I think that can happen in this game. So my understanding of why this works the way it works could be off, but at any rate, the answer is Aura Sing wins this particular problem. Choose to resolve. Part as well. Player A controls Lor Santeca, Secret Keeper, Mina Bunteri, Stop This War, and Athete Security. Player A plays another Lor Santeca. Which of the following is not a legal outcome? So, when defeated, you may give an experience token to a unique unit. Okay. Player A chooses to defeat the original, give the experience to Mina. That's legal. Choose to defeat the newly played Lor San and give an experience to the original. That's also legal. Defeat Lor San and give the experience to the Athete Security. That not legal. This has to be unique. Player A controls Migs Mayfield Triggerman, which has attacked Player B's base for 2 damage and is not used as triggered ability yet this phase. Player A's base has 6 HP remaining, while Player B's base has 2 HP remaining and 1 card in hand. Player A plays Forced Surrender. What best describes what happens? Player A has Migs. Player B has 2 HP remaining. Player A plays Forced Surrender. Yeah. Player B would discard their card, and then Migs would get to just trigger. I guess this is asking if this would work if they don't have exactly 2 cards, but you just do as much as you can. If you have 1 card, you still lose the 1 card. I think we're almost done here. Player A controls Cad Bane, Hostage Taker, which has captured 2 of Player B's units, Home 1, Alliance Flagship, and Greedo, slow on the draw. Player B then plays Timely Intervention to play an L3-3-7 Droid Revolutionary from their hand. Which of the following is a legal outcome? Player A rescues home 1, which returns to play exhausted and lets them draw 2 cards. Then attack with L3 and Cad Bane. I don't know why the card draw is happening. Healing the race. Okay. Player attacks with L3 and Cad Bane, defeating shield token. They then rescue home 1, which now you can't have the shield and the rescue both. You have to choose. Player A rescues home 1, which returns to play exhausted. Then they attack with L3, healing their race for 1 and defeating. And there shouldn't be a shield. Rescue home 1, then they attack with L3, heal for 1, defeat L3. That's the right one. This was just a reading comprehension problem. And that's it. Got to the end. 25 out of 25. I think most of these questions weren't that bad. There was a couple tricky ones there that I had to have some prior knowledge for, but overall, pretty fun. Maybe some people aren't into quizzes. I personally enjoy this. I think it's a pretty good time. Definitely recommend if you want to check out this stuff and test your knowledge of the game. And also the this Do You Know Star Wars Unlimited is really good. In fact, I'll give that a little demo too. Why not? Let's just do one. Do one card. It loads. Apparently it is not happy with me. Let's try that again. Okay, I'm just going to do the one card here, just so you see what it's like. So basically, and I love these things. Essentially here, we're just looking for anything on the card that is wrong from the real card. So it's testing your knowledge of the cards of the game. It's a lot harder than the quiz, I think. I definitely will get a lot of these wrong. But in this case, I do see what's wrong here. That should be raid 3. So all kinds of things can be wrong. You can see all these categories. Nothing could be wrong. It could be, the art could be changed. The text, in this case, it's the ability text because the raid is wrong. But traits could be wrong. The name, everything. It's pretty cool. Well, almost everything. I don't think he messes with like artist. Raid 3. Yeah, that's how that works. So lots of fun stuff on this site. Maybe he'll add more stuff over time. Maybe he won't. I don't know, but definitely recommend checking it out. SWUuniversity.net. It's a good time. And that's all I got for you today. So thanks for watching and take care, everyone.